Hi everyone. Here's what we're going to be reviewing today. This is one of their boxes here. And this is from Inovelli. Inovelli is a small smart home business that makes smart home products. And it's a company that's run by people completely invested in smart home products. And they really listen to what the community wants from their products. And they do make excellent smart home devices. Some of these are smart lights, LED strips, smart switches, and we're going to be focusing on this today. It's a smart switch. You might be thinking, what's so exciting about a light switch? But it's not your average, everyday, boring light switch, by no means. It's actually a smart switch with so many different functions built in, not just the simple on and off. This is what it looks like out of box. And it looks like a regular light switch. What you would do is get rid of that light switch and then hardwire the Inovelli. You might be thinking, why not just use a smart light? Well, I have a few reasons why you might prefer a smart switch. If you're in a larger room, like a kitchen or a rec room, maybe there's, 6 to 8 lights in that room. And to change out every single bulb for smart lights would be extremely expensive. Why not just get one smart switch instead, giving them all automation functionality? Another reason is that in some homes there are LEDs built into the home that you can't replace. If you wanted to be able to automate those lights, you wouldn't be able to do so by putting a smart light there. So if you have a smart switch, that can make it a smart light for you. Lastly, outside you might have those really bright halogen floodlights, and you wouldn't want to exchange those for smart lights, so you can use a smart switch there instead. There's also another way that you can use the smart switch. You can connect it directly to smart lights as well. If you were to use a regular light switch with a smart light, whenever you turn those lights off, it completely cuts power to the smart light. However, with this switch, if you were to turn the light off, it doesn't completely cut power to the light, it only gives it a signal to turn off. The smart switch is getting power from the system 24/7. What it does when you hit the button is that it'll send that signal to the hub, and the hub will give the signal to a smart light, turning it off. For instance, in my daughter's room, she has a LifeX bulb installed. Sometimes she just forgets if she's tired, and she'll turn off that traditional light switch, meaning that there's no signal at all going to the LifeX bulb. In the morning, it won't automatically turn on because there isn't any power going to it. I've also installed a smart button in her room, but sometimes she does just forget and she turns off that traditional light switch, and other family members sometimes do it as well. However, if you're using a smart switch and you turn off that light, it's still receiving power. It just knows to turn off that light by giving it a direct signal, though the switch still has power coming to it. So I've gone over regular on and off functions for this smart switch. However, it has much more than that. If we take a look at a smart button like this, it has regular on and off functionality, and a lot of smart buttons out there have 3 options: press, press and hold, and double press. However, the Inovelli Smart Switch has 13 different buttons. 13! That's so many! And doesn't necessarily mean you have to use every single one of those 13 options, but they're there at the ready if you choose to do so. So like a normal switch, it has on and off, but you can also press and hold on or off to dim. So all of that so far is 4 different functions. Plus, you can also double press the on and off buttons, or triple, or hit it 4 or 5 times as well, meaning right there, that's already 12 options. Plus, you get a 13th tiny button at the top right corner of the device here. Altogether, you're able to decide 13 functions for this smart switch. To give you a better idea, I'll use the example of my daughter's room. She has one of these switches set up, and whenever she hits the regular on or off buttons, it's connected to her smart light and it turns it on or off. She can also press and hold the on and off switch to dim those lights, as she likes to do in the evening. In her room, she also has a nanoleaf light on her wall. She wanted it for her birthday, so we picked her up one. Whenever she double taps the switch, it'll turn that light on or off. Lastly, she also has an oscillating fan in her room for when she's asleep, and that's plugged into a smart plug. And it's scheduled to automatically turn on in the evening and to turn off in the morning. However, if it's too warm in her room and she prefers to turn it on manually, she can triple tap the switch, turning it on or off. And if you remember, I told you that there's also a 13th button on the Inovelli smart switch, which she has set to a scene. So perhaps if all of those products were on in her room, the lights, the nanoleaf, and the fan, instead of manually turning each of those off, she has that 13th button set to turn those three things off at the same time. And this is just one example of many. And I still haven't gone through all of the functions of this smart switch. I'll turn off my light so it's easier to see. If you see there, the line on the right side of the switch. So what is it? This is an LED strip. It turns on whenever you hit the button to turn a light on, and as such will also dim whenever you turn that light off. This LED also glows at night so you know where to find the switch. Also, if you were to press and hold to dim a light, the LED dims to match the strength of that light. But you can also use this LED strip to connect to different situations or notifications. For example, if your garage door was left open, you could connect it to this LED strip. Maybe if it's left open, it would turn yellow. So when you get inside, you can see, oh, it looks like I left the garage open, and then you can go and close it. Or maybe your front or back door, you forgot to close it. Maybe then it would turn green and you would know to go and close that door. Or if you forgot to lock your door and you left it open, maybe then it would turn orange or some other color. I have that implemented in my own bedroom. So when I'm ready to go to bed and I see that, oh, it's purple, that means I have to go and close the front door. At that point, then I'd be ready to go to sleep. So notifications are a great way to use this smart switch. You can also use the smart switch to notify when someone's in the washroom. So when someone enters, everything turns a specific color. So maybe if I'm curious, well, I want to use the washroom. I don't know if anyone's in there. If I see that light, meaning someone's in there, I just have to wait until the light turns out. And you can set this to any situation that you want. The light can also be regular on and off, fading in and out, flashing, or have the light chase up and down the strip. And you can set it to any color that you like. It's completely up to you. So here are just a few of the many features that this smart switch has. I'll give you an example of how my daughter uses it in her room. So here we are in my daughter's bedroom, and she has an Inovelli smart switch installed. The main use is for her lights, of course. She hits the switch to turn them on and off. And you can use the switch as thoroughly or as basically as you prefer. Then she also has the nanoleaf light on her wall. And that's connected to the smart switch as well. When she double taps it, it informs it to turn on or off. That way she doesn't have to connect it to her phone. Then she can also triple tap the switch to turn the fan on or off. Now I'll turn off that nanoleaf with that double tap. Simple as that. And that's pretty cool. That way you don't have to turn off everything manually, everything in one switch. And if you remember, I mentioned that 13th button at the top right of the switch. She has it set to a scene, so you can set it to whatever you want, but she has it set so that it turns everything off simultaneously. Saves her lots of time. She just has to press the one button and everything turns off. I'll show you what that looks like. but I'll also give you an example of the LED strip. It's set to blue right now, but on one of my doors in my home, I have a door sensor. So whenever that door is open, it'll turn this LED strip a certain color. Also, whenever someone enters the washroom, the LED strip turns green. That way, if someone has to use the washroom, they can see whether or not that LED is on, and then they can know to either wait or to be able to go in if someone isn't inside. So now I'll open the door, and you can see what happens right there. And now I'll close it again. And now the bathroom. That's it. So I hope that helps give you a better idea of what this smart switch can do from Inovelli. This one specifically is in the Red series. It has so many different functions, and you may even be feeling like it's a little bit overwhelming. Just because it has all of these different features doesn't mean you necessarily have to use all of them. You could use it for something as basic as just on and off for your lights. Over time, as you get more savvy, you could maybe add double tapping or maybe connecting that LED strip to something. Completely up to your discretion. This Inovelli Smart Switch is wonderful for those of us who are deaf because you can use that LED strip for notifications. Especially in the case of the washroom, that means we don't have to yell to try to hear if someone's in the washroom or not. We can just check out that light, and whenever that light goes off, we can go and use the washroom. In some homes, when a door is left open, there's a beep notifying someone that that door has been left open. But of course, for those of us who are deaf, that technology isn't appropriate. So maybe if you see that LED strip on, that means that the door is open so that you know to go and close it. Or if a battery is low for a smoke detector, a light can turn on and then you can go and change that battery. So this is wonderful for those of us who are deaf for that LED function with the notifications. And I completely recommend this smart switch. I'll make another vlog soon showing how to connect everything to this smart switch. So I hope that gives you a better idea of what all you can do with the Inovelli Smart Switch. Thank you, and be smart.